never judged for tables, and I've never been to one of your camera meetings, so I will need a little more information as to how you judged it last year.
Okay.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, Deborah and had a very strong feeling about trying to maintain the verbal communications from the judges back to the individual participants. And I'll just talk about my personal experience. That was some of the most valuable stuff that I got out of the Camera Club last year when I received verbal feedback from the judges during the meetings. Because sometimes presenting it verbally, you get more information than if you just read a paragraph that a judge wrote down. And then a lot of times, if the judge is at the meeting, you get to talk to them a little bit more and get a little bit of extra feedback too. So we wanted to make sure that we preserve that piece of it. So with that, I will share my screen. And hopefully everybody can see my screen. This is the landing page for the Camera Club.
I can see it.
Okay, excellent, thank you. And Sue, you were saying that you may need a little bit of extra help. And this goes for anybody that is using the website for any purpose, including the judging. If you run into trouble, reach out to Alan, Katie, or myself, and we'll do our best to help you. We want to make it as easy as possible and not frustrate anybody, because sometimes things aren't as straightforward as you might think. I think the judging process is pretty straightforward that we'll take you through tonight. But if you do run into trouble, don't hesitate to reach out. That's what we're here for. So the first thing you need is a login. And it's been a while since I looked at who has logins that's a judge. Last time I looked, we had about half of the judges sign up with their logins. And since then, I've seen 3 or 4 more come through. But we still have a number of judges that don't. Does everybody on the call tonight have a login?
I don't.
I have one for Fort Myers. Would that be the same?
Yeah, that's good. You can use that same login, but you've got to request access to our website. And if time permits, when we get through the demo and all the questions and everything, we could help you get your logins set up tonight. If you want to do that. So first thing you do is log in, and I'm going to click on the login button here, and that will bring in a login screen. And if you don't have a login, there's a section down here for create an account. But if you already have a login to like Fort Myers or some other club that uses Visual Pursuits, or sometimes it's called Software Pursuits, you sign up a little bit different way. So we'll walk through that with you if you want to do that tonight. So the first thing you do is supply your user ID and password and click login after you get your login. And that should give you a screen similar to this. If you would notice, I'm going to log out real quick. There's a few things on the navigation menu that are there that anybody can see if you're a member or not. And then after you log in, there are some other things that start popping up. And depending what your role in the club is, that's not a very good sentence, but depending on your role, you may have different things in your navigation menu than other people might have. Me being the webmaster, I have a lot of stuff for the technology side in mine. Alan being the manager and VP for our competitions has other other roles that he would use for that. But if you're a judge, you would have this new navigation menu calling Judge, and that's where you'll do all your work as a judge. So you'd come in and mouse over the Judge, and then click on where it says Judging Queue for Website Judging, and that'll bring you into the judging queue. And from the judging queue, you'll be able to see quite a bit of information. The first one is you can display only the things that you're a judge for, where you're assigned a judge. And in order to see the competitions, you have to be you've got to be assigned to that competition as a judge, and the system will not let you judge your own images. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, but you got to make sure that these date ranges are set. And typically what I do is I come in and set the earliest date competition. You can set it back to 2023 if you want, and then make sure this is the date that I'm on, and then do a refresh competition list. What that's going to do is give you a number of competitions. Typically, judges will only have one to see. Sometimes they may be able to see two, depending on the timing of when we schedule the competitions and everything. But you will see the competitions. And it's very simple. If this is the competition that I want to judge, I just come over here to this button and click select. And that's going to open up a judge competition screen for you. And you'll notice on most of these pages, there's helps and there's videos of how to do different things. You can click on those and watch the videos, and feel free to explore the different areas. If you want more information on a competition type, you can click on that, and that's going to give you a overview of that competition type. And this competition type information is available for members to look at, so they can see the rules for the competition types, a description of what those are, how to submit things to into the system and everything. And it makes it a little bit more convenient for members, because they don't have to get out of any area to go look or hunt for the competition types. They can do that as they enter their submissions. They can actually call this up and see the rules right there with their submission. So if the category is color, they'll be able to see all the definitions and rules for the color. So this is just a mock competition that we put together, and we invited Alan, Katie, and myself, as well as the board of directors for the Camera Club, as well as a couple other people that are judges to submit some images. So we actually have some images to look at and rank together. The first thing I got to do, I'll scroll down the bottom. This will be filled with the images that are available for you to critique. But the first thing you have to do is select a competition level. This year is going to be the first year that we're going to introduce 2 competition levels. And the levels that we're going to introduce are advanced, for the more advanced photographers, and another one called beginner and intermediate. I have this competition level called all images in there right now, but that's going to go away. That was just for me to do testing in the system and make things a little bit easier to do that testing. But as a judge, as you go through the images, you're going to have to select advanced or beginner to begin with. In this example, I selected advanced, and that's going to display all the images that were produced by a member that was ranked as an advanced photographer in the club. So you got to go through this process that I'm explaining now for both for the advanced, and when you're done for the advanced, you got to go into do the same thing for the beginner and intermediate photographers as well. And that'll allow the club and Alan to award the different places based upon skill set, either advanced or beginner / intermediate. And more people at a entry level can qualify for ribbons and stuff. So that should give them more incentive to enter and not be afraid that, especially if they're just starting out, that they're not going to be able to compete in the competitions, because we do have a lot of really good photographers in the club. Alan, do you have anything else to say about the two categories?
Sorry, I was on mute. No, I think you pretty much covered it.
Okay.
I think most people will be in the advanced group. But if we decided to put in the beginner intermediate group this year, because we sent out a survey, and we were wondering why it was the same people that were submitting images all the time, and a lot of people weren't submitting any images. So we sent a survey out to see if we had the two separate groups, would people be more inclined to submit images, and there was a resounding yes to that. So that's why we decided to put in the beginner and intermediate group, and hopefully we'll get more images for competition going forward.
Yeah. So I'll take you through the advanced. And Alan, I found out why I say 6 out of 5 images have been scored. That's because in testing, I scored one of them just to make sure that I had the flow down and everything.
Okay.
So that's what it was counting.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
So as soon as you select advanced, your images will come up here. But for this demo, we entered it as all images. So these are the 6 images that were entered into the competition. And this is a fake competition. We're not going to get any awards or points or anything for this. And we're planning to have yet another mock competition that the members themselves can join, and you as judges can practice scoring. I do intend, after the next judges training meeting next week, to set up a competition, and I'm just going to throw a bunch of my images out there, and every judge will be assigned to that fake competition, and you can practice your skill sets for judging. So you'll see a screen like this, and you can go out of order if you want, but I'm going to choose this one because this is my image that I submitted. And you just double click on it, and I'll bring up a fuller size image. Excuse me. And you can see where you could score this. I'm going to give myself a 5. This might not let me do this, come to think of it, because this is my image. So I better choose another one. I'll choose this one because I really like this one. Little boy wake surfing behind a boat, which I really thought was neat. So I'm going to put a 8 in here, and then I'm going to exit, and you'll see the 8 comes in up over here. So I can double click on it, look at the full size image, put the score here, and be done, and go on to the next one. And then I could put a score there. So I'm going to give that one a 9. and then I'm going to exit that. So that's one way of looking at the score. I can also click on the little C, and it brings a fairly sizable image. And you'll see a number of check boxes that you can use as a judging aid. Alan's not requiring that this year, that anybody click on this, but you can use them if you want. It's an aid that you can do. And as the year progresses, we can add to this list, take things out of this list, or modify the list if you see anything that would help you as judges. And your feedback's always important. You can put notes in here. Again, it's not required. These could be notes that you want to use when you're critiquing, or reminders in case you want a reminder of why you gave them so many points or why you didn't give them so many points. Same thing for the slider bar. You're going to see the slider bar goes up to 100, down to 0. You just ignore that slider bar because that isn't really, that's just going to get in the way of the scoring.
Wes, I have a question.
Sure.
On the comment section, are the judges that wrote the comment the only ones that see that?
No.
No. Okay.
I believe, and we can test this before we get going too much. But I believe the person that this image belongs to, this is actually Deborah Law's picture that she took with her iPhone, which is remarkable to me, the clarity and everything and the colors. But I believe the maker of the image can see your comments after we do the verbal feedback during the meeting. So when we set up the competition, we'll set that up to be visible to everybody, the results, first place, second place, third place, as well as see the pictures. But the person that made the picture will be able to see the comments, as well as I think where it's set up now, Alan can see the comments. Katie, I'm thinking you can too, and myself as a webmaster, I can see the comments. But we'll just have to use our integrity if we've entered a competition, not to poke into it beforehand. But the member won't be able to see it till after the actual meeting.
Okay.
And then when you're done filling this out, so I could put here like the composition is good with, and this isn't a very good comment, with the wave being an excellent leading line. And you can put quite a few comments there. You got to make sure you click update though, if you go that way. And then you'll be able to see the ratings. And if you get through them all, let's say you go through and you rank them all.
Multi-series now.
Pardon?
With somebody's phone, I think.
Oh. So let's say I rank this one and as a 9, and then I have second thoughts and I say, this one here is better than that one. And I'm not saying that because that's what I think, but you can always go back and change these until the point that we finalize the judges' scoring.
Well,
So, yes.
What is your scoring system? How high do the numbers go?
Yeah, so each judge should rank these their images 5 through 9.
Okay.
And I'll let Alan talk about the exceptions. But then what we do is we add all 3 judges' scores together. And so you can have a score of up to 15 to 27 for the individual things if we have 3 judges. But I don't know, Alan, do you want to talk about any exceptions to the low end of a 5?
No, I think generally I would say that we would score. I mean, you can score between 3 and 9, we say, and if you look at some of the documentation there, that's what it says. It mentions 3 to 9, but on a practical basis, we've been doing between 5 and 9. And
Yeah,
the
so
other thing, I just want to mention something else on the comments. We decided not to insist on that this year because we want to try to keep it simple and the same as years gone by. But if you feel so inclined, I think it would be good to put some comments in where you feel like it's necessary and it would be helpful to the maker, because at least the maker then can see the comments related to their photograph, particularly since some of them might not be at the meeting, so they might not be there to get a verbal feedback, and it would be good to see something in writing if you could do that.
yeah. So
What is the exclamation?
the explanation point, let me click on one for you. I'll go back to this one. That just takes you into this screen. And this is where Alan can pre-screen all the images coming in. And if something didn't fit the category, he can disqualify them. And we'd like to keep it to Alan or his designee to make that judgment, so we have some consistency throughout the season's competitions.
Yeah, and the reason it would be disqualified if it isn't in keeping with the rules of the competition type. So if you get familiar with the competition types, and I think the worst one is nature, as far as the restrictions on nature photography. Things like no vignettes, and you can't do individual, you can only do overall adjustments. You can't do individual adjustments to the image. So it would behoove everybody to make sure that they understand what the requirements are for submission of an image under each of the categories. And you as judges, if you happen to see something that you thought wasn't right or was an issue in that particular competition, then you could just get in touch with me, and then I would have a look at it, agree, disagree, and then I'd be able to disqualify it. But I didn't want anybody to be able to disqualify, any judge be able to disqualify it.
Do you go by the F3C rules in your
No,
club?
we go by PSA rules.
Oh, PSA rules, okay.
Yeah.
Clear.
But Sue, if you look at the website, you'll see various tabs you could go to that will give you, the details of how the submission should be made, and depending on the competition, what the rules are within that.
Yeah, so
I know PSA rules, so that's not a problem.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
yeah, we've got competitions, and then the rules and procedures, submission guidelines, and judging guidelines all out on the website. So when you're done, let's say I'm done with my scoring, then I would come up here to my scores, rankings, and critiques have been completed for all competition levels. And I would just click on that. And when all the judges have clicked on that checkbox, and this is giving me a warning because I haven't done scoring for all of them. Once I've clicked on that, and then I just go down and save everything and kind of go from there. And then because let's pretend I was on advanced, then I would go back and redo that same thing for beginner and intermediate. One other thing, my Zoom only runs for 40 minutes, and then it cuts everybody off. to get back in, all you got to do is re-click on your Zoom link if we run out of time. But that's how easy it is. There's not a lot to it.
Can I make another comment?
Sure.
In the 2 other camera clubs that I've been in New Jersey, to get to advanced level, you needed 3 blue ribbons. So like if people don't know if they're beginner or intermediate, they have to have some ribbons. I don't know what your criteria is, but some people don't, never think they are out of intermediate when they really, if they're winning, they should be advanced. So,
Yeah, so the rules going forward would be, I think everybody chooses which level they want to be in initially,
mhm,
right? If you want to be in advanced, you can be in advanced.
okay,
If there's somebody that's won prizes in the past or ribbons, then they can't go into beginner and intermediate.
okay,
But if you're in beginner and intermediate and you win a few of the competitions, again, depending on how many people are in that, then you would probably automatically be moved into advanced. And maybe it's 3. We need to come up with maybe a better cutoff of moving up into advanced.
mhm,
But something else people need to be aware of too, once you moved into advanced, unless there's a overriding circumstance, they're going to stay in advanced. We're not going to move them back to beginner.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
okay.
So any other questions?
This is the other Terry. How do you envision handling ties if there are any? If you've got too many in the top third, or however you'll do that.
Well, if there are ties, Terry, then, I mean, we do a first, second, and third, and then so many honorable mentions. If there's ties for first, then we just say, okay, there were 2 firsts or 3 firsts. Then there won't be a second or third.
I understand. Okay.
And I think you've participated in the year-end competitions before, Terry, right?
I've done several. Yes.
Yeah, so in the year-end competition, it's different. We can't have a tie in the year-end competition. That's where you get into, okay, if there's a tie, you need to re-vote. And then we add it up again and to find the first, second, third place.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Yeah, here's a chart, and this is in the competitions, rules and procedures area. That will give you all the details of how many different awards of what type that we can give, as well as in the case of ties. So like Ellen was saying, if we had 2 tied at first, we'd do a first and a third place, because the second would be one of the first.
Mhm. Okay.
And it goes by the number of things, for the number of honorable mentions that can be given, depending on the number of entries. So that's all I really have. Does anybody want to work on your user IDs, or you want to try to do those on your own?
So we've only got 2 minutes left, Wes.
Yeah.
I can do it on my own.
Okay.
And I've got one, so should be good to go.
You too, Sue? Okay. If you have any trouble, let me know, and I'll try to help out. Very good. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate your attention and good questions and comments. Really appreciate them. Alan, when we get kicked out, do you want to get back in? I can show you how you can view the images.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get back in.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Looking forward to it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
me too. Thank you.
We'll have a minute.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to end this.
Oh,
Oh, maybe stop the video first. That might help. And,
All right, I'll see you in a few.
okay, sounds good.
Bye.